Lisa, and I will be your operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Sage CRM What's New in V6 conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star and the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. Mr. Nosek, you may begin your conference.
Thank you, Lisa, and good morning and good afternoon to everyone. We appreciate you joining us today for the introduction to the new features of Sage CRM V6. Just a couple of housekeeping items. The purpose of this presentation is just to outline the new features. Given that, I'm assuming that the people we have on the call are somewhat familiar with Sage CRM and basic operations of it. This is not intended to be an introduction to CRM or an introduction, just a demonstration of Sage CRM. And this is just going to go into the features that have changed from the previous version of Sage CRM, which was 5.8, to the latest version that has recently been released, V6. So again, welcome. We will go over the new features. I'll describe them. I will show them to you, and then at the end we can answer some questions and get into more details on any one of the features if that is what is required. So let's dive right in and get into it. Sage CRM V6 has a number of new features, and basically the intent for all of them has been centered around user adoption of one flavor or another. We have looked at the users of Sage CRM and generically categorized them into 3 separate categories: new users, power users, and administrators. And in all 3 of those target audiences, we have added features that have made Sage CRM easier to use and made your daily tasks or the things that you do the most often, trying to simplify them, make them more efficient, make them more powerful. So let's start with new users. In the realm of new users, we have what we call a new training and coaching feature. And it really encompasses multiple features that have been added to V6, including the new Welcome tab, on-screen coaching, and a couple of wizards that have been included to walk people through various steps. So I have some screenshots in my PowerPoint here that doesn't seem to be working. There we go. But I'm just going to kind of skip through those, and let's go look at the software itself. What I'm showing you here is Sage CRM with our basic demo data. That's an option when you install Sage CRM if you want to include basic demo data, which is just sample data that's been put into the system. That's what I'm going to be showing you today. I'm going to log in as Susan May, who is the sales manager in this fictitious company that's using Sage CRM, so I'm going to log in as her. And the first thing that we see when I log in is the new Quick Start tab. Let me get rid of these notifications. I apologize for that. Okay, I have a Quick Start tab. Now, this was specifically designed for new users because anyone who is familiar with CRM projects, whether it be a new installation or maybe an organization has changed and there's new people, a new hire, what have you. If you're new to CRM, using such a system can be a bit of a daunting task. There's a lot there. There's some things that people need to learn in order to be effective in using it, and that can be somewhat overwhelming to them. So what we've done is added this new tab here. You see in the tab as part of the My CRM section, the first one is called Quick Start. And by default, when I install this system, that's where everybody gets pointed to initially. So this is the first thing they see. Of course, that can be changed later through preferences if you don't want to see this as your first thing. But this is the default so that all new users will see this tab. And what this tab includes is broken down into 4 sections. The first are videos. And right here I have 5 new videos, and this set of videos will be expanded as future releases go along. But what they are little flash videos intended to introduce the user to a fundamental aspect of Sage CRM, for instance, my calendar and tasks. Of course, that's one of the basics of our system, is being able to schedule an appointment or to put on a to-do of some sort. And so we want to introduce the new user to these things, and we have a little, I can't show it to you by nature of the way screen sharing works in one of these presentation modes, so I can't show you this little video, but just realize that these are roughly 3 to 4 minutes. They show the screen, they show the mouse walking through the various steps of these basic tasks. And we have what's new introduced. We have an introduction to Sage CRM for someone who's never seen this product before. My calendar and task, finding and adding information, which walks me through finding a company or finding a person, and so forth. Maybe adding a new company, a new person, a new task, that sort of thing. And then a video that highlights our Outlook integration. And we will go through Outlook integration in a little more detail later on in this presentation. But these are videos that help the user get started, because the last thing somebody wants to do is go read a long technical user manual. So this gets it started. This part right here, this second group, has to do with the user's preferences wizard. And what this does is this walks the person through setting up the system according to their particular preferences. And all these preferences have existed in the system prior to this. 5.8 had these same preferences. What's new is the wizard, the one that walks you through step by step, and you can see some of the things that are presented to the user. The grid size has to do with the number of rows. If I want to if I look to find a company, how many companies do I want presented on that screen? That's what a grid size is. Calendar view, what do I want to see? Log me into the Quick Start. Here's where I can change that. If I don't want to see the Quick Start tab, I want to log into the calendar. Here's where I do that, and so forth. And you can see here through these tabs that these various steps are numbered: step 1, step 2, step 3, 4, 5, and finally I've completed it. We're not going to go through every single one of those. Just realize that this is a wizard that walks the user through the process so that the system looks and feels the way they want it to look and feel. That way they're more comfortable with it and are more likely to embrace using the system. So I'm going to cancel out of here. That's the user preferences wizard. I also have a series of quick tips. Again, like the videos, these are short help or aids to using the system, designed so that user doesn't have to go to the user's manual. Here's one on creating the new task. And you see it just brings up a short series, in this particular case, of procedures of how to create a new task. So we've got creating a new task, adding the lead, viewing an opportunity, what the recent list is, hotkeys, and wildcard searches. Just some quick tips to get more out of the system. Of course, these will be added to as we go along as well. And then finally, we do have, if the person really does want to use that user manual, or maybe they need some more detailed information, then they can get to that rather quickly with these links right here. These are the parts of the Quick Start tab that make a user getting started with Sage CRM easier. I mentioned at the beginning that we have features focused for new users, for power users, and for system administrators. There is a feature in the Quick Start tab specifically for system administrators. So let's go look at that. I have to log off as soon as may and log in as the system administrator. To show this to you, I get the same Quick Start tab, but now here in the Configure the System, I have a System Administrator Quick Setup Guide. If I click that, here's my first steps on this Quick Setup Guide. I have navigation forward and back here. So I'm going to go to my next step. It says getting around the administration work area. In case I scroll through this, it tells me about it. And then here I have a click here on the main administration homepage. And you can see in the background, the system has gone to the administration homepage. So now I'm ready to do the next thing. Let's basic system settings. Let's set up the currency. Here's why I set up currency. Here's what multi-currency is all about. Here's what base currency is all about. And then if I want to add currency, you can see here, it takes me to the place to add currency. So again, this walks the new system administrator. This is specifically geared towards new installations to get systems up and running, helps the system administrator set up all these things, walks them through the process. Equally important, ensures that they don't forget anything in that process, and so forth. Specifically designed to make administering the system easier. Okay, now we're going to, I forgot the whole on-screen coaching, excuse me. Next thing we're going to do is go back to the main menu, and I'm going to look at my calendar. The other part about helping a new user to feel comfortable with the system is this on-screen coaching. You can see this is this paragraph right up here. This has been added to most of the major screens within the system. Certainly not all of them, because I get into very detailed stuff. But for the basics, I have this paragraph up here that's called on-screen coaching. And what it does is it is a short text. It's actually HTML, so I can put some formatting in there. I can put some links in there if I need to. But it describes what am I looking at that particular time. If I go here, this is the lead screen. All of the leads assigned to you are listed on this tab and so forth. I have the ability to minimize this and show it again. The reason I do that is because as I become more familiar with the system and as I start to use it, I don't need the system to tell me what I'm looking at the calendar screen. I'm using the system, I know what the calendar is. I may need it in other places, so I don't want to turn it completely off. But when I get to that point where I am familiar with the system enough that I don't need this on-screen coaching, I can turn it off. Just click that button right there. It's going to turn it off completely. Again, it says I can turn it on again by changing my preferences. There. Now I don't see on-screen coaching anywhere in the system. That on-screen coaching, it is easily customizable, just like the screen itself. So if I have various screens in my Sage CRM system that I customize by adding fields or customizing the screen in whatever way, I can change that on-screen coaching to alert those users of those changes as well. So that's very easy to customize as well. Okay? That is training and coaching. The next area of the enhancements in Sage CRM V6 has to do with search functionality. And this is, we said that new features were targeted toward new users, existing users, or power users in system administration. This really goes into the power users and making things easier for them. We have the ability now to search for communication, search on numeric field. We have a new feature called advanced sign. And we have keyword search. And let's go look and see what all of these are. If I want to do a search now, if I right-click on the find, you can see here that I now have a new find category there called communication. What this is for is, in the past I had the rest of them, so let me just go show this again. In the past I could find a company or a person or a case or an opportunity, a lead or solution based on a variety of criteria. But what happens if I know that I had a telephone call last Tuesday with some guy named Joe, at least I think his name was Joe, and we talked about desk plans. But that's all I know. It was a phone call last Tuesday. Well, I want to be able to find that. So here I have find a communication. I can set the date and time that this was, so I could do last Tuesday, between Tuesday and Wednesday, because I don't remember exactly what it was. There's Wednesday. And I can say the type, this was a task or an appointment, or I can do all. the action, what was it? Was it a meeting? Was phone out? Was the fax? So forth. Then I can do a find. But I probably won't get any. No, I do. I have some communications between last Tuesday and last Wednesday. So now I can search for those. And like all my other finds, these are hyperlinks. You can take me to those persons, companies, or the communication itself. Okay? So that's finding the communication. The next thing has to do with finding it on a numeric field. In the past, if I have this opportunity, this is my standard opportunity find screen. Maybe I want to find something based on the dollar value. So I'm going to go add that. This is going to be a quick customization, and the goal of this is not to show you how to customize, so I'm not going to necessarily explain everything I'm doing. I'm just going to go customize my screen here. And I want to search on total quote value. Add that to my screen. Save. We'll go back to the main menu, and I am going to. Now I have total quote value on my opportunity search screen, and you can see I have some choices here: equal to, greater than, or less than the total quote value. So I can say find all the opportunities greater than $20,000. That's new, this comparative numeric field. Of course, date fields are included in that as well. So that's how I can add in a start or in the case of an opportunity, maybe the close by date. I wanted all the dates between two dates. All the opportunities that are expected to close between two dates. Needs to be able to talk a little better, so I apologize. So that is searching on a numeric field. The other thing that we've added is advanced find. Advanced find allows me to create advanced searches based on multiple criteria. Okay, so here I want to find, I'm going to search for an opportunity. I'm going to base it on the account manager and the state that it's in. So I'm going to base it on certainty, and I'm going to add it total quote value. So here are three criteria that I want. So say the account manager is Susan May. Certainty percentage is greater than or equal to 25%, and the total quote value is greater than or equal to $10,000. Or we'll say 1,000. The details here. Now I can group these. I can group them by parentheses. And I have logical ands and ors that I can combine these criteria in that find. Turns out I have quite a few opportunities in the demo system that meets these criteria. Okay? But this is an advanced find. In the past, I had the ability to do these kinds of things, but it would have it took a little bit of scripting, some knowledge of SQL statements and so forth to make this happen. But this makes it a whole lot easier. So I can drill down and find the exact information I'm looking for, and then of course I have the ability to save this. This is an advanced find of this, and maybe I want to call this advanced find Susan Ops greater than $1,000. Whatever I want to call it, and then I can make it available to everyone, or just make it available to me. I'm not going to save that, but that is saved search. So in the future, I can come back and recreate this, or I can use this advanced find in other places in the system, such as when I'm creating reports. I also have the ability to preview the SQL statements that get made. That if I wanted to use this in some customization, I have the SQL statement. So again, we're extending that ability through the user interface and making it easier to use the system. Okay, so that's advanced find. Finally, we're going to look at keyword search. Keyword search searches across entities. All my other searches are within a particular entity. I can find a company or a case. Here I want to companies and cases. So I'm going to just put in the keyword GateCom, and I'm going to select all that I want all these entities to be searched across, and I'm going to do a search now. And you can see that it brings back a variety of entities. Here I've got 4 opportunities and 36 communications. I have one company called GateCom, and I've got 3 people. Somewhere in the text, in that person record, or the communication record, or the opportunity record, GateCom shows up. Okay, so this is keyword search across entities. Of course, I can be specific and just say I want communications in companies with the name GateCom, and then that's what it brings me back. Okay, that is the search capabilities that have been added to Sage CRM V6. The next feature that's been added to Sage CRM V6 is a feature called Groups. Now, if you've been using the marketing module of Sage CRM in the past, then you're probably familiar with a feature called Target List. Groups replaces Target List. It has taken that functionality, expanded it a little bit, and added it to the My CRM area, and then it does not show up in the marketing, but I can certainly use it in marketing. None of the functionality has been taken away. It's just been expanded. We have 2 types of groups, dynamic groups and static groups. And a couple things to note are that groups are based on a single primary entity, and access to groups can be controlled. We're going to look at these in a little more detail, so let's get into the software and go look at groups. If I go to My CRM, you see on my tabs here, I have this new tab here at the end called Groups. Here's a series of 4 static groups that have been included in the sample data, and all of them are of the type static. Now, what is a static group? Static group is one whose membership does not change unless I change it manually. I need to add that caveat in there. I can change the membership manually. But let's consider the opposite of that, a dynamic group. The dynamic group is one that does change over a period of time. For instance, all California leads. This is a group of all the leads whose state field includes California, or in this case, CA. If I were to add, after making this group, 2 weeks later, I add a new lead that is in California. If that were a dynamic group, that lead would be added to the group membership because it meets the criteria of the group. If it's a static group, it does not get added. The membership is set at the time of the group's creation. It does not change going forward. So that's the difference between a static group and a dynamic group. Again, what we're looking at here are groups of leads, persons, companies. I can do opportunities and cases as well. Now let's go create a new group. I'm going to call this group Admin Friends. I'm going to say it is a static group. I'm going to say it is a person, and whether I can now control access to this group to all users, to info administrators, which I then control in the user profile, or private, meaning it is only available to me. So I'm going to make this private because it's system administrator's friend. It defaults to this source view. If you know how to customize the system at a deeper level, then you know that I can create new views and thus create groups based on those other views. And what that does is change the criteria that are met in order to be a part of the group. But just for most people, because I selected person, this research list person is the source view I want to use. And then it also says here's the fields that we're going to include in this. I can add to the search criteria. And again, here I can do an advanced find. And that advanced find is multiple criteria that are combined using and statements and or statements. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to leave it blank. So here is a group that includes everybody. So I'm going to save an empty static group because I want to show you something. Here, there's a group that's empty. record to the group. I could do it here through a find or a saved search. I could use an advanced find, or I can add one group to another group. I'm not going to do that. Let's go find a person named Simon Yaltoy. Here's Simon Yaltoy. I look at the person record for Simon Yaltoy. Here I have add this record to a group. I'm going to do that. Admin friend. Now, if I go to my CRM, I go to groups, I see admin friends, I see that Simon Yaltoy is in that group. Okay? So that's one of the ways to use a static group. And when I said that a static group's membership doesn't change unless I manually adjust it, that's how I would manually adjust it. So those are groups. Again, criteria for groups. Groups replace target lists. I've got two types, static and dynamic. It is based on a single primary entity, meaning that a group of companies is just companies. It's not cross entities, and then I can control it. One thing I forgot to mention, here, now that I have a group, I have a variety of things that I can do to that group, including new email, new task them, I can do a mail merge through a new document, and so forth. Okay? Now let's look at some of the enhanced Outlook integration capabilities that we have. I'll describe them here. If I have a contact in Outlook that I add to Sage CRM, I have the ability to create a new company at that time if that's needed. It does deduplication when I'm adding that contact. So if I've already added, if I'm trying to add Outlook contact named John Smith to Sage CRM, and I have my deduplication rule set up so that it catches Tim Smith, it's going to highlight that and say, hey, are you after the same person? Basic deduplication using the same rules as the data upload to duplication. Two new fields, CRM file and CRM email. We'll look at those two new fields when we look at the software, and it'll be easier to explain when we get there. I have the ability to file emails that are sent from Outlook. I can file batches of emails. I've got attached global documents when I do a new Outlook email and send and file. So we're going to go through these in detail right now. I'm not going to show you the first two. New company when adding Outlook contact and the duplication with adding contacts. What that has to do with is if I am in Outlook here and I have a contact, here's Simon Yaltoy, and if I want to, he's already a contact, so view contact. If he was not in Sage CRM, I'd have the add contact. And then at that point, if I needed to add the new company record to Sage CRM, I could do that. Or if it found a duplicate, then it would happen at that time. It's very, very similar to the data upload deduplication stuff I'm going to show it to you right now. What I do want to look at is CRM file and CRM email. These are email fields. These are fields that get added to my database here. And in order to show the capabilities, I am going to send an email from Simon Yaltoy to Susan May. And I'm starting up my email client for Simon Yaltoy. I'm going to write a new mail. And then it's going to go to, say, that panoplytask.com. Test email from Simon. Test email from Simon. I'm going to send it. It was sent. Now I can close this out. Okay. This is Susan May's Outlook inbox. So I'll do a send and receive. This will be comes in. It did. Okay, so there is the email from Simon Yaltoy. Two fields here have been added. CRM file and CRM email. So we're going to do a synchronization, and you notice on synchronization that my CRM email field has now been checked. What that does is it says that the email address from this email has in the from field matches one of the email addresses in the My Contacts. So here I have My Contacts. It's interesting. Something happened when I rolled back this VMware. Basically what it is this is a Sage CRM contact, which I can see here through categories, is the way that Outlook integration works. It saw that this is one of the My Contacts in Sage CRM, and it flags me. So basically what this does is this tells me that this is an important email potentially. It's from a customer. It's one of those people that I pay attention to, however you want to view it. But it does show me that this is one of my Sage CRM contacts. Then when I file this email, I want to file the email. It opens up the file email dialog. It says gate comment Simon Altoy because it knows it read that off of this email address. I have a couple options here. I can choose default works for me. So I did that, and now you see CRM file gets checked. The reason for this is I know me personally, I get anywhere from 50 to 100 emails a day, and I see one, and I say, wow, that one's from Simon Altoy. That's important. I need to file that in CRM. So I file it. Tomorrow I come into the office, I'm kind of scanning through what I'm doing, and I say, wow, that's an important email from Simon Altoy. I need to file it. So I do it. And the next day. And the next thing you know is I've got that filed 3 times. Well, I don't want to do that. Of course, that's just adding garbage into the system. This is a field here that shows me that I have already filed it into Sage CRM, so I don't need to do that again. Okay. That's CRM email and CRM file. File email sent from Outlook. In the past, I had this ability to file an email in my inbox. And when I did that, one of the defaults was that it set it as an email in type. When I look at the communication record here with Simon Altoy, when I look at this communication, you see here, why is it not showing that? And apparently I'm having some issues with my integration. This is what happens when you use VMware, the VMware image rollback to a snapshot and don't know what you're doing. So this is a problem with me and my demo system, certainly not with the system that works. But you see here is, do I have any ends? I don't have any ends. But basically when I do a file email here, it shows it as the type email in. I now have the ability to go to sent items. Let me go back here. I'm going to see this. I'm going to reply to it. Come on. Okay. Got the test email. So this is from Susan May. I'm going to send it. Now, in my sent items, I have this email. I can file this email. It knows that that is in the sent, and so here, if you look at my actions, it automatically selects email out. That didn't happen in the past. In the past, file email always filed it as an email in, and then I'd have to go over to my Sage CRM and change the type. Okay, so that's an enhancement there. The other thing is a batch of emails. So basically what that is here is core email sent from Susan May to Simon Altoy. I can file those all in one step. All emails will be filed under the same company person. That's important to know. But in this case, they're all to the same person, so that's fine. But here I can file a batch of emails all at once. That happens a lot if I get into an email discussion. I email to you, you email back, I reply, you email back. And the next thing you know is through this thread we have 5 emails from you. And I don't want to have to file an email 5 times to get that into the system. I want to take all 5 and file it in one step. That's what this accomplishes. Now, more features, global documents, and printed files. I'm used to using Outlook, and I want to use that for my CRM. I'm used to using Outlook. I want to use email in Outlook, not in Sage CRM. So here I have a new email that I'm sending. I have two buttons here that is shown. One is attach shared document. What that does is that opens up the global document library in Sage CRM. I'll show that to you. In this particular case, in the demo data, I don't have any documents. So you see that opens up the global document library in Sage CRM, and then I can attach it here. And excuse me. Send in file does exactly what it sounds like. It sends the email in Outlook and opens up the window so that I can then file that email into Sage CRM. So two new buttons here on my Untitled message in Outlook. That is enhanced Outlook integration. Okay. Next, we're going to move into some features that are specifically targeted towards system administrators to make their job easier. The first one is territory management. So let's go over into these. I'm going to get out of Outlook, come back here, and I'm going to go into administration, users, security, and here's territories. You can see my interface here is a little bit different. I have the ability to edit new territories and edit territories, which I had the capability to do in the past. Move territory and merge territory. I'm going to look at this merge territory. In my default database, I have the territory tree structured like what you see now, where I have U.S. and Canada as a territory underneath worldwide. And then I have marketing also as a territory underneath worldwide. I've got U.S. marketing here. Maybe I want to merge this with U.S. and Canada. And this is very, very common because small, mid-sized businesses are target audiences. Things change. They merge with other companies. They grow. They expand. They have a shift in the way they structure their sales force and so forth and so on. So we need to do this every so often, and we made it real simple here. We have source territory. All data from this territory will be merged. I'm going to merge U.S. marketing. That's the source. Now I select the target. I'm going to put it into U.S. and Canada. So here it's from U.S. marketing to U.S. and Canada. Do I want to move users and user rights to the new territory? Yes or no? And I hit next, and it doesn't. I'm going to say no. Now, gives me a little warning. If I want to do this, go ahead and do it. Okay? It'll take a little bit of time, but it's merging those two territories. I have the ability to move territories as well. And maybe in that particular case, I didn't want to merge the information. I just wanted to create U.S. marketing as a territory underneath U.S. and Canada and move that from the marketing territory to the U.S. and Canada. I can do that too. That's a move territory. And this can take some time. And we're not going to look at that. One other thing we have here is add more territories with rebalancing. In the territory tree in the past, I had a limitation, and I don't remember the numbers of the limitation. So I may get these wrong, but it seems to me like we had a limit of 36 territories that could be 5 levels deep. And those limitations have been removed. So now basically I can have territories to my heart's desires. I do have to rebalance if I am doing an upgrade from 5.8 to V6. I have to rebalance. What rebalancing does is a one-time process. I have to take it out of the old way of doing things and into the new way of doing things, and that's one way to think of it. But that's what rebalance is, and it's still not. If I go here to security, see here's my rebalance, the free structure. So that's the improvements to territory management. Mass update and territory update. Mass update has to do with groups. We We created groups earlier in the presentation, so now let's go look at this. I do have to turn on mass update, and mass update. Anyways, let's go look at this. I have a group, my CRM groups. Here's all U.S. East contacts, which are all the people. Something is right here. I'm doing something wrong. All U.S. East contacts. Let me go do users, system administrator. Where is mass update? I apologize for the delay. I am trying to find where my mass update is. This is embarrassing. Oh, here it is. Allow mouse update to hit update territory. It's a setting in the system that the demo database is going to know. But if I want to allow mass updates, I have to set it in system behavior, administration system behavior, allow that to yes here. Now, when I go to my CRM, I'm looking at the static group US East contacts. I have to go back into it. Now I have mass update. What mass update says is I'm going to take this group of records, and there is a particular field in there that I want to update. That can be whatever. In this particular case, it's a person group, and therefore here are the person fields that I can use. Maybe I want to update the phone number. I doubt I would do that to a group of people, but it's potential. If I create a group of all the people in a company because the company has changed phone numbers, now I want to update the phone number for all those. Here's how I would do it. One of the other examples where you would use mass update, fairly common, would be if an area code changes. Or if I have a group of opportunities and I want to take all those opportunities that have a close by date as January 31st. Well, January 31st is now coming on. It's now February 6th. I want to move those over to February 28th. I can do that through mass update. Again, mass update works in conjunction with a group. Likewise, I have update territory. In this particular case, I can take a group of records and update the territory for them to move them from one territory into another. So that's update territory. Again, working with groups. Okay, moving on, we have disable users and reassign records. Again, with small to mid-sized businesses, organizations change. And if I have to do such a thing, disable a user for whatever reason, then here's some things that make that process a little bit easier. So I'm going to go look at my users, and I am going to say that Brian Little has left the company for whatever reason. So I'm going to reassign and disable Brian Little. I'm just going to reassign it at this point. You can see I can reassign records to somebody. So Brian Little, in my demo database is U.S. West Sales Rep, so maybe I want to reassign his records to Susan May, who is his manager. There's Susan May. Reassign there. Do I want to reassign companies and people? This we had in the past. Here's what's new. Is I have the ability to say I want all of the communications that are pending and in progress. I want all the opportunities that all the leads that are have been converted opportunities in progress, and all of the opportunities in progress. And reassign just those to Susan May. Now I can be a little bit more specific as to records that I've reassigned from one user to another. Of course, I used it as an example that Brian Little left the company, but certainly there's other reasons why we would reassign records too. If Brian Little got a promotion and is no longer doing that particular particular role within the company that maybe I need to reassign some records. I have that ability here through this interface. Another administrative feature that has been added to the system is Simplified field level security. Now, we have had field level security in previous versions of Sage CRM. The difference is that the field level security was enabled by using code. Now we have a codeless way of doing it. In administration, if I go to customization and I'm going to pick a person, here's all the fields associated with this main entity person, and I have field security over here. So I'm going to say that whatever source. Here's a field. Here I can define read access and write access. I can allow or deny read or write access, and I can allow read or write access to users, to teams, and to profiles. So those are my choices: profiles, teams, or there's everyone. I can do it for specific users too if I have Fred Jones there. And based on these criteria, I can allow or deny read or write access. Now, when I'm using this, if Fred Jones is in customer service, so maybe I have conflicting settings. I want to allow to Fred Jones, but I'm going to deny read access to customer service. If Fred Jones is in customer service, the most restrictive wins. So if Fred Jones is in customer service, he's still not going to get to see this field. He doesn't have read access to this field because this is more restrictive than Fred Jones. Okay? Now I'm going to remove these out. Field level security, use checkboxes. Much more simple than the way we had it in the past. Finally, we have some enhanced CTI integration. By the nature of our demo system, I don't have the ability to show this to you, but we have historically used CAPI to accomplish CTI, which is computer telephony integration. Now we have two new standards we can use, TSAPI and CSTA. If you are doing computer telephony integration, what this means is that you have a wider variety of communication systems that you can now integrate with. Again, there's nothing to show you on this. Just realize that we do have support for TSAPI and CSTA. Okay, a review of what we've looked at so far. We saw the training and coaching. We saw the improved search functionality, the new groups features, some of the enhancements to our Outlook integration. And then for administrators, we've looked at the improved territory management, the mass update capabilities, how to disable users and reassign records, simplified field level security, and the enhanced CTI integration. Now it's time to open up for questions, which I see that I have a few here. So let me go through. Are all of these new features available in CRM 100 and CRM 200? The answer is no, not all of them, because, for instance, that last one, CTI is not available in CRM 100. I don't believe. I hope I'm right in saying that, but in that particular case, it wouldn't apply. The other ones, absolutely, they're available in 100 and 200. Things like groups and the advanced search and field level security, all those things are available in 100 as well as in 200. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, here's one. Question from a user. Oops, just disappeared from me. Can CRM recognize if an email was already filed by another user? That answer is no. That is one thing that we have been asked to add to the system. But the point on that one is customer Simon Yaltoy sends in an email to Susan May and Kylie Ward, and Susan May files it, and in Kylie Ward's Outlook, it does not show that Susan May filed it. And there's actually arguments for both ways, that maybe it should, or maybe it shouldn't, because when Susan May filed that, it did not assign that email to Kylie Ward. If it wanted to be filed to Kylie Ward, then Kylie would have to do it. So there's arguments both ways. But the short answer is no. The system does not recognize that it was already filed by someone else. Someone else asked the question that we got a notice that this could now be downloaded, but that the accounting integration was not done. Is that true? Yes, it is true. This Sage CRM V6 has been released as a standalone product. The integration between Sage CRM V6 and the accounting packages, whether they be Sage ACPAC ERP or Sage Pro ERP or Sage MAS 90, Sage MAS 200, those have not been released yet. We are expecting those in April, that the integration would then be available. So everything you've seen here is for standalone systems. Certainly, all of these will apply when the integration is released in April. When will the first service pack be released? I have no idea. We don't have that on a schedule. I mean, we do have future versions of the product scheduled. You know, there are some thoughts as to when version 6.1 will be available. That decision has not been finalized, so I can't share it with you. But service packs have not been scheduled. Okay, someone else asks, the numeric field search, can it also be used for filter criteria? For example, team opportunity view. Filter, no. Alan Paulson is asking that one. If I understand the question right, you're talking on the right-hand side of Sage CRM, where I can filter by type and that sort of thing. No, it can't be applied there. It's only in find. When I do a find, and therefore finder can be used in reports and so forth. So that's where it's used. Okay, someone else is asking me about Vista and Office 2007. No, Sage CRM does not work with Vista and Office 2007. That is one of the future releases. Having said that, though, if you have a Vista client and log on to the system, we are finding that just about everything works. We have not done an exhaustive test to make sure that I can't state emphatically that every feature will work. But certainly we do not have the ability to use it on a server running Vista. But if you have a client that's running Vista, they can log in and generally things work. Not officially supported, so if there are bugs, we need to know about them. But official support for Vista and Office 2007 is coming in a future release of the product. Office changed significantly how they did things, so some of our export capabilities and mail merge and those kind of things that we integrate with Office 2007, those are still in development. Okay. Let me look through questions here. There's no one of Vista and Office 2007. Can I use advanced search for an additional customized entity in the system? I add a new entity in the system. Can I do advanced find based on that? Yes, I can. As long as I set up the view as an advanced find view. When you send an email to CRM, is it moved out of Outlook or copied and remains in Outlook? It stays in Outlook. It is basically copied into Sage CRM. So I didn't get rid of it in Outlook. Is there a spell check in Sage CRM? No, there is not. Spell checking is an interesting request that we sometimes hear, and it winds up being an awfully big animal when we actually try to use it. One thing that we have suggested in the past, and I have used on my system, is Google has a plugin for spell checking, and it seems to work fairly good. Again, it's not as simple as it sounds, and so when we look at it, we have not added it to our product roadmap simply because that's an awfully big bite to tackle when there are tools such as the Google spell check to do it. That's one of the reasons why people want to create emails in Outlook, is because of Outlook's integration with Word and those spell checking capabilities and so forth. And we've facilitated that through the use of the send and file button and the attached global document so that you can do that. How does field level security interact with workflow? If I deny access to a field using field level security to a user, then that permeates throughout the system. So I do have to be careful, because if somewhere in the system I've got a particular user changing or trying to change a field through workflow that person does not have right access to, then it won't happen. So if I use field level security that's at the bottom of the list, so to speak, and everything else has to go through that. So if I deny right access to a field and field level security, that person cannot change that field anywhere. Okay. Will V6 still have limited support for Lotus Note? Yes, it does, to the same level that we had it in the past. Can you show us how to use an advanced minded report? Yes, let me go show you that. So, if I want to go here to main menu, let's do reports is what I'm looking at. Question was reports. So I want to do let's just do schedule. Hit it. And then I have a new report, and I'm going to call this test person report. I'm going to do a source view of person summary, and then see here now it gives me the ability to do advanced find here. Here's all my typical. Is it private? Does it auto hyperlinking? So can I drill down into it? Is it filtered by various things? If I select advanced find here, my next step, let's see here, report content of a person, that would say first name, last name, and phone number. I'm just making this stuff up. Now here is my advanced find. That's the next step. So what is the search criteria is based on the state and the city and the area code. Which is not in FU for the zip code. So here's my advanced find that I can use to create this report. Okay, what else do I have here? Can the Outlook features be used if you are only using the Exchange server level integration, or does it require a plugin in each instance of Outlook? The Outlook integration that we have is at the client desktop. It is at Outlook. If you are using the old Exchange server integration, which dates back to several years ago, then that capability has not been enhanced. Everything I showed you today is Outlook integration, which means it's done at the client, not at the server level. So yes, the Outlook plugin must be installed at each instance of Outlook. In order to do that, I go here to my CRM, to Preferences, Install CRM Outlook Integration. Can you put security around report categories? Not sure what you mean by that. So Joel Merriman, I hope I said your name right. Please send me an email and let's discuss that because I don't know. We have basically come to the point where we've been doing this for about an hour, which is what was planned. You see my contact information on the screen now. Feel free to send me an email or give me a call. I should have changed this. Forget that number right there. There's my phone number, there's my email. I can certainly answer individual questions. Just give me a call or send me an email. This presentation is being recorded, I believe, and so we should have this available to other people within your organization. And so we'll get a link out to all the attendees as well. So, before we go, are there any last questions?
We do have an audio question from the line of Linda King.
Linda. Yes, Linda, what can I do?
Ms. King, your line is open.
Are you there?
I had a question about the advanced find. If you've already created that advanced find, can you use it in the report just by calling it up? You have to recreate it each time.
So using a save advanced find, right here you can see here's if it is based on the saved search, then I can't use it. So the answer is yes, it can be advanced find when used in report. I can't use saved searches. So right there, everybody's based on that search. Okay. Well, everyone, I appreciate your time today. Thank you for attending. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I hope you find the new features in version 6 to prove beneficial to you. If you have any questions, give me a call. Thanks, everyone.